We are grateful to you, respected chief guest and special guest, for your kind presence, which has brightened this seminar a lot. We are also thankful to our faculty members of IUBAT for organizing this seminar on this auspicious occasion of World Environment Day and launching of the UN Decade of Restoring Ecosystem starting from today. There is no other better alternative but to exchange ideas for this great task of rebuilding damage caused and conserving Mother Nature. I hope this seminar will mark the beginning of our all-out effort in this regard. We look forward to the successful conduction of this seminar and coming up with some thoughtful recommendations to fulfill the objectives of this seminar. With these words, I would like to conclude my speech, wishing this seminar a grand success. Thank you all.
Now I would like to
unmute karo Firdaus, unmute.
Firdaus, unmute your microphone.
Unmute.
Sorry, sir. Now I would like to invite Professor Dr. M. Atar Rahman for his keynote speech. And today he will talk on sustainable landscape management for ecosystem restoration and climate action. So welcome, Professor Dr. Atar Rahman, for your keynote speech. Thank you.
Respected Vice Chancellor, respected Chief Guest, Special Guest, and other guests, and also my dear colleagues and staffs and dear students. Assalamu alaikum. I welcome you on the observance of the World Environment Day. The theme of this World Environment Day is, this year's theme is ecosystem restoration. So from the last 50 or 60 years, we have lost many of the ecosystems, river ecosystems, pond ecosystems, bill ecosystem, haud ecosystem, field and catland ecosystem, forest ecosystem. And in front of us, we have lost the Bhawal forest, Madhupur forest, and also the rivers, the Bongshi River, Turag River, and Brahmaputra. These all ecosystems are dead. Now, if we want to restore this ecosystem, we have now no other alternative to manage the landscape. Otherwise, we'll suffer from different calamities like the floods and waterlogging and droughts in the dry season, and also the tidal surges, as well as the storms and cyclones every year. So it is utmost essential to manage the landscape, to restore the ecosystem. So today's keynote title is Sustainable Landscape Management for Ecosystem Restoration and Climate Action. Landscape is the base of all land ecosystems. Landscape and area is the result of action of natural or cultural factors. Landscape evolved through time and are the result of natural and human activities. At present, there are virtually no natural landscape remains. Left human activities leave their marks everywhere. Landscape are of two types, natural and man-made landscape. Need for landscape management, then natural conservation, ecosystem restoration, and climate action. It is the integral part of land utilization and production of food and other essentials. Managing the land resources like water, soil, and biodiversity. Landscape management is needed to secure the lives and livelihoods, natural systems, and are needed to manage wisely and logically. To conserve them and maintain the significant features of the landscape is greatly valued on account of its distinction, natural and cultural configuration. Important for proper planning, particularly affected and damaged areas like suburb, peri-urban and industrial areas, floodplains and coastal areas. Here, from last decade, we are working on landscape management, and the previous, our former founder, Vice Chancellor, Professor M. Alimullah Mia, and also with the support of Professor Abdur Rauf, the present Vice Chancellor of IUBAT, I have been working on landscape management for ecosystem restoration and climate action. And we have already completed our projects, and already 3 papers have been published. And from these, we have now made a book, and a manuscript has been submitted for reviewing. And IUBAT Institute, MIA Research Institute will publish in this book. In this book, I have tried to include the physiography and landscape of Bangladesh, traditional management landscape, reasons for changing landscape, impact of landscape change, influence of land use and landscape change on climate, and detailed study and description of impacts of landscape changes, habitat and land area, navigation system, climate, agriculture, rural infrastructure, migration, and biodiversity, loss of biodiversity, socio-economic condition. And for these, we propose the landscape management system, preservation of natural undulation and topography, protection against further disturbance of the landscape, identification of the causes of detrimental changes and the effective to reduce them, appropriate agricultural practices, protection of existing water bodies and excavation of large and deep water bodies, protection and conservation of woodland and homestead forest, control of topsoil erosion, and to minimize the irrigation dependent culture, shelter belt with appropriate plant species, and proper planning for urbanization and development of navigation system. The aim of this book to make a schedule or law for the country that should be manage the landscape for further deterioration. Here, landscape management for restoration of water cycle. Here, there is an example. The hills and the plains, how the forest ecosystem help in water cycle restoration. So the hill forest has been damaged by the agricultural expansion, and also deforestation has been made, and the hydrological cycle affected transpiration, water table, loss of river flows, loss of watershed, high siltation, erosion and landsliding, disruption of river flows with dams and embankment. Chittagong hill tracts has already lost 70% of the perennial stream, drying the atmosphere, and overall ecosystem are affected. And here is an example of the importance of the forest in the Chittagong, in the hill tracts. There is Devotar Puku. It is about 500 meters above from the sea level, but there is still water, as there are the huge plants, which are the mainly bamboos, banana, and other creepers and climbers and indigenous plants, which has the effect to uphold the water table up, and we will get the water in the top of the hills, even in the top of the hills. If we destroy this vegetation, then the whole water table will go down. As per example, in the hills, the forest has been brought under agriculture by caram plantation and also by yaru cultivation. As a result, the whole ecosystem has been changed, and the result is the drying up of the perennial streams, and there is a huge water crisis in the hills now. So to maintain the forest ecosystem, to maintain the coastal ecosystem, everywhere we need to preserve the landscape and also the vegetation of that area. So finally, I want to conclude here. That is, the undulation is the beauty of nature, and it keeps all the systems running. Undulated landscape provide water flow during and after the monsoon, and create the opportunities for various habitat, and thus diversified flora and fauna. So we must keep the undulation, and we must not make everything flat, and we must not destroy the gradation of the land, and we should manage the landscape. In the Dhaka city, you can see that is only 85 millimeter rainfall. The whole Dhaka city has been covered because we didn't manage the landscape, and we have destroyed the gills, wetlands, and other bodies where the water temporarily used to hold. We have made the dams and crossed the river and the khals. And all this system has made badly affected the whole ecosystem. So there is no other alternative or other than we should manage the landscape. For this landscape management, if we want to restore the ecosystem, we must have a law on landscape management. So I must conclude here, and thank you for listening and questions hearing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Rahman, for the nice presentation, and we really covered the PCME supply international environment. So I really have to look at there are supposed to come on
Sorry to interrupt, Dr. Firdaus Ahmed.
Firdaus, hello Firdaus, আমরা কথা শুনতে পাচ্ছি না।
So, good afternoon, everybody. The greetings from the World Environment Day. We are here. Today I will present about my recent research. The research has been funded by the MIA Research Institute, and it was about modeling soil, and we have followed the data science approach for doing this model. Soil modeling is the study of soil properties, soil functions following some mathematical models. At present, development of software, remote sensing imagery, statistical tools, R programming, GIS, various digitalization and technologies made it possible for the like a database modeling of the soil properties and the natural resource properties. Unlike many agronomic and science discipline, soil survey also cope with a data-driven approach recent days, because you know that data science has been integrated even in our agricultural sciences recent days and environmental sciences, and so it is a this research is a blend of data science in soil survey. This study finds the change in soil fertility status of 3 upazila of Bangladesh. The study looks for impact of intensive agricultural practice on soil fertility. So the intensive agricultural has been done for last couple of decades. So we want to know whether there will be changes in soil fertility status by the soil survey. Some survey has been conducted in 80s, and some of the surveys conducted in 90s and 20s. So we want to compare those surveys. Those surveys have been done by the SRDA, Soil Resource Development Institute, for about last couple of decades, but they didn't compare, or they did not have any spatial data analysis. But this study conducted this study. The 3 upazila has been selected, like Manikganj Shodor, Faridpur Shodor, and Monohordi of Norsingdi. These are the 3 upazila just randomly selected. There is no reason for selecting these 3 upazila. This is randomly selected. Total sampling point of each of the upazila is 180. Soil survey done 1990 2020. In basically these 2 decades, soil survey done. These are very detailed soil survey done by the SRDA, Bangladesh government, Soil Research Development Institute. Soil parameters under study were nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, calcium, magnesium, sulfur, zinc, and these. Statistical methods used here: ordinal, logistic regression. This regression equation basically used to model the parameters, and software used R programming. So this is the study area. Here we see that this is Bangladesh, and these are the 3 upazilas: Monohordi, Norsingdi, Manikganj Shodor, and Faridpur Shodor. So this region, basically close to Dhaka division, those upazila are located, and the data, the soil survey that was been conducted in these upazilas for last few years, we have studied those data. Parameter estimations of parameter estimation data of soil properties with various soil levels of the 3 upazila. So these are the properties, and these are the three upajela like Monohodi, Manikganj, and Koipur Sodor in this different year, 1999-2005. The estimated data was selected as a table, and we found that from 1919 to 2005, the model data for the different soil level have some significant changes. We have found that those data have changed, and this change has a significant range, especially for the macronutrient. It's interesting that the macronutrient like nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, sulfur, those we know about the macronutrient. Those nutrients, their properties changes significantly in the last couple of decades. And also, this is a correlation matrix. Where we know that the different nutrient element of the soil and their interactions have been presented as a correlation table. And from this table, we can understand that what is the strength of interactions among the different nutrient elements in soil. Because you know that they are in the soil, there are so far 20 to 30 essential elements, and especially there are more elements. But what is the level of interactions? Usually, those type of soil nutrient interactions has been studied by analytical methods. But here we have followed some like a quantitative methods, so that the data, so the elements of the different, whether there are some interactions between those elements. So in the table, we have found that those red star are the highly significant, and the single star are less significant. And from 1990s to 2000, we have found the recent data that in the 20th century, there is the level of interactions among the different nutrient element decreased. So in the Manikganj Sodor, the same type of phenomenon observed, that the level of nutrient interactions between the different nutrient element in soil, that was highly significant in the 90s, but their interaction decreased in the recent days. And the same type of things also have been observed in the Norsing, in the Monohordi Upajela. And it was evident that the macronutrients, what are the macronutrients? Nitrogen, potassium, phosphorus, those have shown more significantly decreased interactions than the micronutrients. This is one of the another result that we have found, and we are interfering that it is because of the lots of chemical fertilizers have been added in the last 20 years, and those fertilizers basically macronutrients. So the macronutrients status, macronutrients in natural soil status have been disrupted a lot. So that is why the recent surveys, the macronutrients interactions showed less significant interactions. So it is essential to know the status of soil health due to intensive agriculture over the decades, because we should know what is the soil health status, what is the level of interactions among the different nutrition element. The countrywide soil survey that was made by SRDI needs special analysis in the light of data science. Data science have some basically new approach, so we can do this in the light of data science, where we can use the statistical model and modernized software. This research will encourage the study of remaining hundreds of upajala of the country and its nutrient interaction, along with other approaches to study. So only 3 upajala nutrient interactions was displayed in the presentation, and we conducted, but we need to do more other upajalas for have more result. So this paper has been accepted as like a third Euro-Mediterranean conference for environmental integration. This will happen in June this month in the Springer Nature. So this is accepted. Our paper and another co-author of Motahir Hussain of our IUBAT work, and this research was funded by MIA Research Institute. So thank you very much for your patience hearing.
Thank you so much.
Hello, can you hear me? Hello? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, it is all right.
Hello?
Yeah, it's clear.
Please
Right now it is
wait a
clear.
few minutes just due to technical error. Please wait 1 minute. Please wait 1 minute. We will fix the problem soon coming back. এখানে আপনাকে এখানে সেন্ড করা আচ্ছা তাহলে আপনি সাইবারকে আমারটা তো আনমিউট হ্যালো
Can you hear me now? Is it okay? Hello. 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 Can you hear me?
Yes, sir,
Can you
we
hear
can hear you.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you so much. So I'm really sorry for the technical problem. So now it is my turn. Okay, I'll be presenting something. Okay, let me share my screen. Let me share my screen. Okay. Okay, thank you so much. So I'm going to present one on the awareness building for the lightning scenario in Bangladesh, because you know that this is the very timely the title, and currently we are really facing this problem. Even the Bangladesh government very concerned, because since 2016, from the Ministry of the Disaster Management and the Relief, it has been declared one of the disaster in Bangladesh. So just let me show you what is my motivation and what are the problems behind this and why I'm interested for this research. So if you look at this, each of the years, 300 to 500 people is just dying. That means death toll or the fatalities 300 to 500 each of the years. More than 1,000 injuries in a decade. And already I said that it's a new disaster since 2016. And since population is increasing, so deforestation is the common phenomenon each of the years. So whatever the tall trees we had, like the palm trees, that could, reduce the lightning danger or the damage, but each of the years we have been cutting down all the palm trees, are reducing the number, so the danger level is still increasing. And obviously there is a connection with the climate change and the global warming, because if you look the last 30 years data, at least 2 parameters of the weather or the climate, that means the rainfall and the temperature, the different hotspot in Bangladesh, obviously it has been changed. And of course, I will be showing you the hotspot, the lightning. Okay, there's a different scenario in Bangladesh. So obviously this is one of the reasons. And if you say about the prominent literature or the statistics or the study, the climate change, the natural climate change, they had on the scenario studies. They said that due to the climate change, the lightning scenario, maybe we had to face the less, but highly intense. Intensity will be higher, but it will be, the frequency will be less, but it will be the higher intensity. So obviously it has the connection with the climate change, the global warming. Okay, I'm coming with the lacking in awareness building, but let me say, define next, the lightning problem, protection equipment, theft and stealing. This is, although you might be surprised listening on this, that how the equipment being theft or stealing. Yes, in Bangladesh, when it was under the British colony, so the British people, they installed many of the copper, the rod for the lightning protection in the many of the croplands, the different parts of Bangladesh for the lightning protection. So that those, the copper, the rod could act as, lightning, the conductor, okay? So it really could reduce the lightning danger. But unfortunately, the people, illegal people, or, you know that we have different mindset. The people, when they come to know the copper, it has the very high price value in the market. So nowadays they are stealing. And I can remember when I came back from Malaysia after just completing the PhD in the year of maybe 2016, just before my postdoc. So one of my uncle, when he came to know that, yes, my PhD is based on climate change, environmental science and management, I work on climate change, then he asked, why? the lightning scenario or the damage is increasing, okay, last 5 years or last 1 decade. And what is the reason? Then I said, maybe this kind of the conductor or this kind of the lightning protection equipment we had, but nowadays maybe. But then he mentioned there was in my locality, there was that time in 2016 on the Mahananda River, there was a new, the bridge, it was under construction. Then he mentioned, yes, there was a, copper rod and people, they just sold in the market. But they did not know, the significance on the necessity of that kind of the copper rod, that why the British people, they installed that kind of copper rod as a lightning, the protection the equipment. Okay, so these are the problem. And nowadays in Bangladesh, you really cannot find this kind of the equipment. And the next you see that the limitation of the technology. The technology can restrict and control 100%. Yeah, maybe, yes, but in terms of the socioeconomic condition of Bangladesh, maybe we really cannot install or we don't have that much fun. Maybe in USA, Florida, Texas, or the Malaysia, the Singapore, they're also facing, and they do have both awareness and the technology, but still in Bangladesh, we really cannot cover, okay? Because of the socioeconomic condition, because the area, the technology, it really cannot cover. Think about the hectare and a hectare, the croplands, the paddy field or the jute fields. Okay, it really cannot cover the open fields or even the Howrah area in the northeast part, like the Sylhet and so on. That is the point. That is why I'm really focusing on the lacking in the awareness. That is why in my, the title, just focusing on the awareness building. Since all these technology, we have the lacking. It's 100% we really cannot control. So maybe awareness, if you do really aware the people that yes, if you really can predict, observing the weather condition, that yeah, it's not really safe to go out. We really cannot send the people outside, our kids to play even outside for the fishing, for the, even the laborers or the farmers to go out. We have to understand that. So different stakeholders or different level of the people, we may increase the different awareness. So you see that this kind of the, the lighting materials we had in the different, the croplands or different parts of the Bangladesh, but these are being tapped already. And nowadays we don't have nothing. Well, if you think about the literature, well, in a good number of the literature we have, at least 20 to 25 published paper we have, but only the literature or this kind of the published paper, they only focus the problems or the fatalities or the casualties. But, and they mention about the technology, but obviously it has some limitations, but they really did not mention that how we really can reduce the fatalities or the casualties. So only one paper I found, I'm from the IUBAT student who did the master's in USA, only he mentioned or who did work on, building the awareness, but who did only the survey, not really kind of the roadmap or kind of the conceptual framework or the model, so that it could be included in the policy level, okay, in the government level, the policymakers, so that they can adopt as a policy that yes, we can adopt as a model and we really can implement or can apply in the root level so that it really can help. So this kind of the study is none so far I didn't found really. So that is why it is my motivation to work that how we really can increase the awareness. So yeah, I will be showing that yes, I have the conceptual model for the first time I have done. Okay, so as a method, you see that this is kind of the case studies. So both empirical and the conceptual. So both studies have been included. And particularly as a data, you know that it is very difficult in Bangladesh. Even I did contact even to the ministries, the Department of Environment, and Department of Disaster Management and the Relief. They said, yes, they will be giving data of the different parts of the fatalities and casualties of the, the lightning damage, but still they didn't. So what I did last 5 years, including my students and the RA, unpaid of course, I couldn't pay them. So following the daily news of newspapers of Bangladesh like Prothom Alo Daily Star, Dhaka Tribune and so on, I have, the long table. So whatever the number I find, so including my students like the Hasib and so on. So I did the work like last 5 years. So each of the cases like fatalities, either the death toll or the injuries. So I just recorded. And my study also relied on the other secondary sources, okay, to compare the data validation. And finally, a conceptual model has been proposed from this study. Okay, so as a result, you see that if you look at here, so you can understand the last 5 years, starting from 2015 until 2019, these are the frequencies, number of the frequencies, starting from January, December. So the most frequencies, it has been recorded from May to July. If you look at the, this column, this is spike and this, the sky blue. So you see that in the month of the frequencies recorded in the month of May. So in 2018, so most frequencies are being recorded, okay? In 2019, although it is reduced, but you see that 8 months, even in February, okay, it is kind of winter, but in some parts in Bangladesh, some frequencies of the lightning is being recorded even in 2019, okay? But usually in February, it is kind of surprising. Suppose we do not face this kind of the lightning, or we are not ready to face this, but it's happening in some parts in Bangladesh. So next you see that these are the hottest spots. Okay, so out of many, the districts I have chosen, or these are the hottest spots. So 10 to 11 districts. So most lightning casualties have been recorded from my studies. So if you look at here, as I told you, that yes, Northeast, the Select Division, those are mostly affected, okay, from the lightning vulnerabilities or the casualties. So Sunamganj, Habiganj, the Select, okay. The second vulnerable division I found, the Rajshahi. So you see that the Sirazganj, okay. This district I found. Next, Magura, Dinajpur, Mymensingh, okay, Naranganj. And next Manikganj and Satkhira. So these are, and this study again, I'm telling 15 to 19, okay, not 20 or 21 included. Okay, now this is important that we are talking about the fatalities or the casualties, but what are the activities? That means what are the activities when the lightning strikes, but what are the activities people are affected? So you see that people are harvesting, okay? People are working the cropland, working in the paddy field, working in the jute field, during the fishing, playing outside, our kids or the adult, okay, university student, college student, when there is a rainy, so they are playing outside, okay? Even people are at home, maybe even caught by rain, people are outside, but caught by rain, couldn't reach to home, to reach to house. So maybe by this time, they died, okay, by the lightning strike, even returning home. So these are the activities. So if you look at here, so mostly the farmers are affected, or these are the, the vulnerable groups. Okay? And second vulnerable groups, if you look at here, the caught by rain, or when people are returning home, or even the guys with their livestock, they are, returning in the afternoon in the heavy rain, okay, they are returning. Even if you look at here, the third or fourth largest, the fishing. In the rainy, during the rainy in the Howrah area, people are fishing. Even they are, really, they're dying due to this kind of the lightning. So these are really important to understand the activity, the how. And you see that the color, different color, the 2016. Okay, 2016 it is mostly significant. Okay, now if you look at if you compare, this is the 10 years study. As I told you, my study is the 5 years, but for the data validation, this is the source from the Foundation for Disaster Forum. They have the 10 years study, and this data 3 to 5% kind of due to the validation. I mean, kind of the deviation. Okay, so I have shown here that even their data, you see that what their data says for the validation. Now, what is my contribution? As I told you, that even the technology, even the lightning protection, 100% actually, it really cannot protect us, even the forest level. You see that the Bangladesh government or Ministry of the Forest or the climate change and so on, the 1.3 million, the palm tree, even it has been, I mean, started planting or already planted, okay, in the coastal area or many parts of the Bangladesh. But we see that to grow up the palm trees, it really takes time, okay? Even 12 years is nothing to grow it up. So that is why I thought that awareness is the best way to reduce the lightning damage. So if you look at here, I'm proposing this kind of the conceptual model where we can merge or combine the 6 ministries: Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Education, Ministry of Local Government, Rural Development and Cooperatives, Ministry of Fisheries and Livestock, Ministry of Disaster Management and Relief. So all, because if you look at here, if of the ministries, somehow they have the activities to serve the people or to reach to the local people. Somehow they have some activities with the local people. So with their service, if they really do, or they really do raise this kind of the awareness, okay? So that is why all these are merged with here, okay? The somehow the agriculture, farmers are there. From Ministry of Education, teachers and students are there, okay? So if from all the stakeholders, somehow they are coming with under the same umbrella. They're coming to know the dangers. They're coming to know about the awareness. So obviously that will help. So these are the just about the table that yes, all the agencies under the different ministries, that how they will help. And these are the key factors that how it will help finally. As a conclusion, I would say that this is kind of the conceptual model. So I myself really cannot do nothing with the help of the government support. It's really difficult to implement this conceptual model. Therefore, government ministries and department or the agencies should raise the more partnership or collaboration with the academia to increase the public awareness, reducing the lightning, casualties. So that's all from here, my dear audience. Thank you so much for listening to me. Thank you so much. So now I'd like to invite Dr. Saima Akhtar for her presentation, and she will talk on effectiveness of forest protected areas in Bangladesh. She will talk on effectiveness of forest protected areas in Bangladesh. So Dr. Saima, can you hear me? Dr. Saima? Dr. Saima, can you hear me?
Assalamu alaikum, sir. Yes, sir, I can hear you, definitely. Thank you so much. Actually, my PC is a little bit old, so it takes some time to process after I give the instruction to unmute or to turn on the camera. Okay. Okay. Anyways, thank you so much for the invitation. So today I'm going to present about the effectiveness of forest protected areas in Bangladesh. I hope everyone can listen to me clear, right? The voice is clear, sir? Hello, is the voice is clear?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Yes,
thank you.
yes, Dr. Saima, you can carry on.
Okay, thank you so much. As you can see that I barely miss any opportunity to put my picture on the slide. So that's what I did this time as well. So that even if the camera quality is not good, but you can see me, the person. Okay. Well, so thank you so much. Today's seminar is on World Environment Day, and today's the seminar, our World Environment Day this year's theme is ecosystem restoration. And I think when we talk about like ecosystem restoration, definitely we have to talk about forest, okay, because forest is one of the major ecosystem in the world, and definitely forest is important for our life, for our livelihood, and for our living. And unfortunately, like because of too many people or too many pressure by what we induce to the forest is shrinking. The number of trees are reducing. So that's what we say deforestation. And the reason for deforestation is many, but from the map, if you can follow the world map, you can see that the rate of deforestation, that the amount or rate of deforestation in the world is not really small, regardless whether it is a developing country or as a developed country, it doesn't matter. The deforestation is everywhere in the world. And the reason for deforestation is, I mean, there are plenty of reasons we know for deforestation, but if we can figure out only one or two key points, that would be human development and our footprint. So how we are using the nature, how we are using the environment, that's actually affecting on the forest, that is affecting on the environment. Okay, well, so to reduce the deforestation, to minimize the deforestation, there are many theories, many practices available in the world. And one of the most popular practice that is available, or one of the most popular mechanism that is practiced throughout the world is known as protected area declaration for a particular area, to protect the area, to protect that area's resources, to protect the area's integrity. Okay, well. And because of that, the number of protected area has been increased really a lot. And you can see from here in a map, according to a study, there are 12,351, 315 protected areas in the world. And you can see the global network of the protected areas. And I'm actually focusing mostly on the forest protected areas. There are marine protected areas as well, but for today's talk, I'll be focusing most on the forest protected areas. Okay, well. So there are many protected areas in the world, and it is important for us to know that whether, as we are declaring many areas as protected area, how efficient, how effective these protected areas in conserving the forest, or for the restoration of the forest ecosystem, are they really helping, or are they not really working as what we are expecting? So let's see what is going on. So if you see, there is a data like a line graph. So here you can see the deforestation rate in different protected areas in the world. And in this data, you can see there are different kind of protected areas, like some of them are strict protected areas, some of them are non-strict protected areas. Regardless whether it is strict or non-strict category, you can see that the blue lines, that these are the deforestation rate. Okay, and the red lines indicates that the deforestation rate just outside the protected areas. So from this information, we are clear that protected area, definitely it reduces the deforestation rate. But if we think that protected area is the ultimate solution for deforestation, minimizing deforestation, that is actually not that true. So even if we declare the area protected area, there are deforestation. So okay, so that this scenario is true for all of the everywhere in the world where we have protected areas. Okay, some of the protected areas are more successful, some of the protected areas are less successful. Well, now let's have a look on what about Bangladesh. Like, we are in our country, we do have 54 protected areas. Among them, nearly 37 or 38 are forest protected area. So what is the status of those protected areas? How if we have done anything so that this protected area can minimize or reduce the deforestation rate? Okay, so let's have a look what is happening there. Well, so in general, in our country, forest management, for the protected area management, what we do, we practice co-management approach. This is a very, very popular approach throughout the world and also very famous in our country. We have been trying to apply co-management approach in our country from the year 2000 with different kind of project like Nishoga support project, IUBAT project, CREL project. So these are different projects that try to apply co-management approach in the forest protected areas. Well, and if you just look at what about the deforestation rate in our country? So if you just can follow my mouse, the pointer, so the red dots are the areas where we still have forest loss or tree losses, and there we also have protected areas. So the data, what we see in our in previous slide, that the deforestation, the protected area is not really 100% assuring that there is no deforestation. That is also true for our country, that even though we are declaring more and more areas under protected areas, lands for as protected area, that really doesn't ensure a very safe security for deforestation. And if you just follow this line graph, you can you can understand the rate of deforestation or forest cover loss or tree loss is increasing year after year, year after year. I do have a data here up to 2014. I didn't get enough like the update one, but I'm sure if we can see the rate of deforestation rate or tree loss by 2021, this curve will be increasing for sure. And now, if you can follow the bar diagram, just this one, you'll see that the forest, the deforestation rate or tree cover loss in forest is really high. If we consider mangrove forest, it is also, we are losing trees a lot, and we are gaining some trees, like the green areas are the tree gain, and the blue ones are the restoration areas. Okay, so even if we have declared many forest protected areas in our country, but the tree loss or the forest cover loss is still happening. And if you just compare with this, the third bar, you can see that is surprising and interesting as well, that even if even if the forests and mangroves are losing a lot of trees, but there is a dramatic increase in tree cover just outside the forest. So where we do not have our co-management, where we do not have our protected areas. So for some reason, we do have increase in number of trees in those areas that is outside the protected areas. So let's have a look, like that is quite fishy, that what is happening here, that why we are losing trees in the protected areas with co-management, and why the trees are increasing in outside the forest area. So is the result okay? So we try to just try to find out the answer, that is it true really? Okay, and then we found from a study in 2021 by Islam and many other authors, that they mentioned that yes, the areas, for the protected areas which we have been managing with co-management has a positive impact only for the livelihood improvements of the people who are living in and out of the protected areas. Apart from that, in all other sectors, like increasing like forest cover, biodiversity conservation, forest governance, forest resource collection, in all other aspects, protected area, like co-management system in protected area management was not that successful. So that is really depressing. That why? Because we know co-management is very popular in the world. Why it's not working in our country? Especially we have started co-management from 2000, and it's already 2021. And in 2021, we are seeing that the co-management is not working that way. That the way we have been expecting from the co-management system. Okay. So let's have a look. What are the threats? Why co-management approach is not working to protect our protected areas? Okay, so there are a few reasons. Definitely, you can see here with the bar graph again that human intrusion and disturbance, again residential areas and the commercial development, conversion of land for agriculture and aquaculture, and again transportation, like transportation system inside the forest, and then natural disaster. These are the major cause of and natural system modification. These are the major cause of that co-management is not successful for the protected areas in Bangladesh, particularly in Bangladesh, not that successful. I will not say that it's a completely failure, but I will say it's not that successful what we have expected. Okay, well now, how co-management has been like performing, or what sectors co-management has been contributing for the management of the protected areas. You can see there is a very big list, that these are the places where co-management has been contributing a lot. So now the question is, if co-management have been contributing so much in many sectors of the forest management or protected area management, then how come the trees outside the forest are increasing? That means there might be something there might be something that we are practicing in co-management that is that is reducing its efficiency, and there must be something practiced by the people outside the protected area that is helping to gain the number of the trees, help to reduce the deforestation as well. So that is like to my students. It's a very definitely it's a time very time demanded research question, that okay, what are the answers, that why co-management is not working efficiently, and what we can do to support the co-management system so that we can conserve our protected areas, our protected forests. Okay, and if I think my students or whoever is interested to work on this, this is a very interesting research topic. Okay, and because at the end of the day, what I feel like, if we have a forest, if we have a healthy forest, we have a healthy life, and if we have a healthy forest, we have a healthy environment, and healthy environment ultimately takes us to a sustainable life, isn't it? So that's it from my side. This is Saima Akhtar. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Saima, for your nice presentation. So now I'd like to invite Professor Dr. Jida. Sorry. Now I'd like to invite Sanjida Said Shoha. Hi, Shoha, are you there from the IUBAT art chapter?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me, sir?
Thank you. Okay, thank you. So please, I would like to request you for your short presentation, okay? So please be in brief. Okay, thank you.
Okay,
so please, you are welcome. Thank you.
Our honorable VC sir, Pro VC sir, and our guest, Assalamu alaikum. I'm Sanjida Said Soha. I'm from CBA department, and my ID is 18302003. IUBAT Art Chapter is actually collaborated with RCE Greater Dhaka and supported by Bangladesh Youth Environmental Initiative. So, if we go to in our next slide, we can see that today is our World Environment Day, which is in 5th June, and this year's theme is ecosystem restoration. And actually, my art chapter, we are talking about this art chapter, which is supported by Bangladesh Youth Environmental Initiative. This is a organization which is working with the environment, and they are mainly focusing with the youth. They are actually working with the youth, for the youth. So they have some program for the youth. They actually try to make them a change maker. As we know that youth can change everything, and we can bring a change. So they have a program which is named as Art Champion Program. So this year, Art Champion program was happened, which was third time they were actually organized. So I was selected there as their fellow from Bangladesh. 27 students were there. One of them, I was there, luckily. So can we go to our next slide, please? Yeah. So Art Champion program it's a fellowship program where I learned how to be a leader, how to be a environmental activist. So after coming back from there, I took the initiative to open this chapter with the help of our Dastagir sir and Ataur Rahman sir. Obviously, without their help, I couldn't make it. So we can see that in this slide, our chapter program has, they organized 3 programs, and they have almost 100 almost 83 fellows, and they have 70 art chapter. From these, IUBAT art chapter is one of them. So if we go to our next slide, we can see that we collaborated with RCE Greater Dhaka, and there are Ataur Rahman sir, which is the director of Central Center for Global Environment, and Dastagir sir, assistant professor soil and environmental sustainability. They helped me a lot in my journey. I started my chapter with them, with the help of them, actually, I must say. So we have collected some members for this chapter. As we will work for our environment, we need some member. We took 11 executive member and 15 general member. So we can see that from these 26 members, I actually tried to select from every department student, as we are youth and we can bring the change. It's not only agriculture student will do make the change or bring the change. We all have to work together. So I tried to collect student or member from every department. Next, we actually did our orientation program, which was held on 26th May of this year, and there were some guests from Bangladesh Youth Environmental Initiative and Dastagir sir and our members. So actually, we selected some mission and vision from our chapter. Our mission is to increase awareness to save our environment among our students. Most of the students don't know and aren't aware about the environment. So our mission is to aware them about the environment, how we can bring the change, and we will work to work for keep our green campus more clean and eco-friendly. And our vision is to build a strong community, youth community. Those will make a step forward to our green future. If we look at this slide, we can see that we have selected some resolution. I mean, we will work with the timeline, and we have estimated time, which is from June to September. We will arrange some environmental related competition and seminar. From this, student will be aware, or they will know more about environment, and we will make documentary video for spreading the awareness. And actually, we are coming with the idea that we need more indoor plants in our university. We have green campus and trees, but we don't have that much indoor plants. So we will gift our university some indoor plants for air purifying, and we will make some nest for more birds in our campus. Then we will do some work as we.
Sanjida, could you please finish by 1 minute? Thank you.
Yes, sir. Sure, sir. So actually, this is our timeline. Maybe we can skip that. We will do some work for our university and our environment also. So there are some expected outcome. We have select that our university will more eco-friendly and student will be aware. So and uses of plastic will be decreased. So I think I'm done with my presentation, and if you have any question, you can ask me or I can finish. Thank you so much for listening me.
Thank you, Sanjida, for your nice presentation. Now I'd like to invite Shahriar Abir for your presentation, but please, you have to be short, very brief, okay, for your presentation from IUBAT Youth Forum. From the poster contest, we call a poster the contest, okay, so he's the winner, IUBAT Youth Forum from the poster contest. So Shahriar Abir, so please, you're welcome. Are you there? Can you hear me?
So can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear. So please.
Honorable Vice Chancellor, Pro Vice Chancellor, Chief Guest, Special Guest, respected teachers, and my dear friends. Assalamu alaikum and very good afternoon. I'm Shahriar Abir, student of IUBAT, and I'm also serving as President of RCE Greater Dhaka Youth Forum. So it is my great pleasure to tell something about the World Environment Day and our RCE Greater Dhaka Youth Forum. Today, World Environment Day is celebrating globally, and today is the day on which we spread awareness about the environment and the need to protect it. If we protect the environment today, the future generations will be able to lead a healthier life, and we cannot be selfish and use all the resources for ourselves today. And on this day, the main priority should be on reducing activities that release pollutants into the air, making the environment unhealthy for animals, plants, and ecosystem to live in. It is necessary for all to realize that every little step matters when it comes to saving the environment. No matter how small the step is, one day it will make a obvious difference. So as we believe and we consider ourselves the frontliner to save the environment as we are youth, and RCE Greater Dhaka was established with that vision. The Youth Forum was established in 10th September 2015 by Professor M. Ali Mullah Mian. We have 200 plus active members. Our regular activities are creating the environmental awareness, tree plantations, social welfare activities, youth development of college and school students. Here is our few activities. Recently, we proposed and designed a green city, and that was presented in environment fair, and we have other regular activities too. And recently, on the 13th IUBAT Foundation Day, we have conducted inter-college poster presentation competition on social security and awareness during COVID-19. We reached over 10 colleges and received 30 posters on this topic. Amongst 30 posters, 3 participants were selected. And here are the winners. The first winner is Abdullah Al-Jubair from Mujharuddin Bishas Government College, Kolapara. And the second winner is Oishi Sheikh from Government Yasin College, Faridpur. And the third winner is Jalal Oshesh, Amritalday College, Burishal. At last, I want to say, I want to quote 2 lines from the Environment Day anthem by poet Abhay K. United we stand as flora and fauna. United we stand as species of on earth. So if we do from our own, if we want our next generation to live in a healthier environment, so we have to take steps, and we have that mentality to make our earth cleaner and more greener. So thank you so much for your kind attention. Hello, sir. Can you hear me? Dr. Firdaus sir.
I think Firdaus has disconnected.
Maybe it's been disconnected.
All right, we can hear you, Sharia, but
Okay, sir.
Firdaus is not connected.
Finished my presentation. So,
Okay.
Dr. Rehan M. Dostogir, sir, you can proceed on.
Dr. Jida, can you hear me? Dr. Jida?
Yes, yes, I can hear you, Firdaus.
Yeah, Prof. So, Prof, very welcome to you, and I'm really apologize for your long wait. So it's a special moment for you. So warm regards and very welcome for this virtual seminar, and it is your time for your speech for the special guest. So please welcome, Prof.
Okay, thank you so much. All right, thank you so much, Dr. Firdaus. If I speak a bit longer, just give me a signal, and then I try to finish as soon as possible.
No problem, Prof. Take your time. No problem.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum and greetings of peace to everyone. I'm very here and to be invited to be a part of this very important event. First of all, happy World Environment Day to everyone. I'm very happy to be here with all the distinguished lineup of speakers and the audience from the International University of Business, Agriculture and Technology, or now I know that it's called IUBAT, yeah? As the
Yes.
As the short form. Okay, first of all, thank you very much to the organizer, especially the Institute of SDG Studies at IUBAT, especially Dr. Firdaus for inviting me to provide some sharing today on behalf of University of Malaya in this global celebration for the World Environment Day. I'm also very happy to support Dr. Firdaus because he was an alumni of the university where he did his PhD on the topic of climate change in agriculture. So let me share my slides, yeah? Can you see my slides? Yeah?
Yeah, Prof, we can see.
Okay, all right. So the title of my sharing today is The Role of Universities in Ecosystem Restoration, the Campus Sustainability Living Lab approach which we have been testing in University of Malaya for quite some time now. This will be the content of my sharing. First, I will just reiterate my understanding of this year's World Environment Day theme, which is ecosystem restoration. And then I will sort of share a bit of my opinion about how universities can play a general role in this. Then I will share with you some of my own experience in doing ecosystem restoration work at the university through what I call a campus sustainability living lab approach. And finally, I will end the presentation with some concluding remarks, which I hope will be useful for the audience today. So as we know, leaders in global politics, science communities, religion and culture from all over the world, including Bangladesh and Malaysia, as mentioned by the Pro-Vice Chancellor just now in her introduction, are joining hands today to officially kick off the UN Decade on Ecosystem Restoration. So basically, this is a rallying call for the protection and revival of millions of hectares of ecosystems all around the world for the benefit of people and nature. And at the UN level, I just knew about this, that this movement, which will run from 2021 to 2030, in line with the Sustainable Development Goals, is being led by the UN Environment Programme, UNEP, and the Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, which I think is very relevant to IUBAT because you're focusing on agriculture. So, and it's very much in line with the Sustainable Development Goals, which I think, the interest of your center, because your center itself is named Institute of SDG Studies, yeah? So why is ecosystem restoration important? Let's define it clearly. It has been defined by UNEP as a process of reversing the degradation of ecosystem, such as landscapes, lakes, and oceans to regain their ecological functionality, and in another word, to improve the productivity and capacity of ecosystems to meet the need of society. So indeed, we all depend on healthy ecosystems for food and energy security, water supplies, and biodiversity. Their continued degradation contributes to climate change and enhances the risk of ecological collapse. And the widespread loss of functioning ecosystem would be catastrophic for our planet and huge setbacks on all the progress made in achieving the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. So it's a call to rebuild what have been lost. You know, it has been mentioned just now that there's a lot of themes that has been given for the Environmental Day every year, and this year is really about restoring, because I think we have realized the many disruptions, many of the destructions that humans have done to the environment. So I was thinking, how does this relate to you know, your university as a business, agricultural, and technology university? I suppose this would be very much you know, it would be interest of, you know, your university to translate this into the agricultural industry. So globally, the FAO has estimated that agriculture accounts for about 70% of freshwater withdrawals from lakes, rivers, and aquifers, and agriculture is the direct driver for approximately 80% of deforestation in the globe. So this is critical. This is a very critical sustainability issue. If we look at the linkages between the SDGs, as food production needs to increase by 70% by 2050. So hence ecological intensification of agriculture, which is the achievement of high yields through increasingly relying on ecosystem services instead of its external inputs, will be critical to meeting this goal. So fortunately, this will be an exciting decade, I think, for your university as well, as researchers in collaboration with agriculturalists and farmers are investing effective ways to reduce and even reverse the environmental footprint of agriculture. And I was very interested to be listening to the many presentations just now where, you know, IUBAT researchers have been doing, you know, work on, for example, landscape management, you know, by Prof. Atur Rahman, soil science by Dr. Rehan, disaster management by Dr. Firdaus, you know, management of protected areas by Dr. Sama. So that was very interesting to know that you guys are, you know, really at the forefront of, you know, trying to solve this issue. So each university, I think, has their own unique role to play due to our academic strength and expertise, and also our geographical and national context. And it's always wonderful to participate in an international event like this, as we can learn from our experiences and, you know, where we can inspire each other as well with possible ecosystem restoration solutions that we have successfully developed. So I just want to, you know, flag out a bit on what is really the role of universities. In University of Malaya, our understanding is that we know universities basically play 4 key functions: education, which is teaching and learning, research, operations and governance, and external engagement. And the spirit, from the spirit of the campus sustainability movement, which is really, you know, which is really moving very fast at the moment. So many universities are doing campus sustainability initiative. It's really about universities making a commitment to walk the talk, leading the way by first ensuring that environmental sustainable development of the campus sustainability is restored in the campus itself, and then to see how the solution that we have applied can be shared to the larger community. So just now I was very inspired by the presentation by the youth member of the university, where they tried to do solutions on the campus. And who knows, in the future, they might be able to share those solutions, you know, to, for example, the RCE, Regional Center of Excellence of Greater Dhaka. So, you know, where IUBAT can play a bigger role. So in this decade until 2030, when we talk about campus sustainability, we are also thinking about how can universities contribute to the sustainable development goals at different levels of society, from our local communities to the country and the global community at large. And that is exciting, but also challenging also at the same time. And I would also like to highlight that when I say campus sustainability, the most common understanding is that this consists of campus staff and students. But let's us not forget as well that we have members of the natural world as well within the campus. the flora and fauna of the campus ecosystem. So I'm not sure about how it is in your university. I think Firdaus would remember that University of Malaya, we have been sharing the campus space with the macaques, the monkeys. The scientific name is Macaca fascicularis. And the question of how we can coexist with macaques is a very unique sustainability question to us in the University of Malaya campus. So your campus community might have unique questions as well. So one of the strategy that University of Malaya has been using since 2014 in this campus sustainability effort is this approach of campus Sustainability Living Lab, and my presentation from now will be focusing on that. So what do we mean by Campus Sustainability Living Lab? So basically, in University of Malaya, we define it as an action-oriented translational research platform on campus to gradually improve the greening of campus operations. And this is based on, for University of Malaya, we have the Eco Campus Blueprint, which we launched in 2016 with its 8 strategic trusts. So these are the key environmental issues within the campus. I do not know about IUBAT. You might have a different priority area. So we are looking at landscape biodiversity management, waste management, water management, energy management, transportation management, green procurement, education management, and change management. So under this approach, researchers from various backgrounds join hands with relevant stakeholders in to systematically improve UM's campus sustainability performance according to specific targets of KPIs based on the Eco Campus Blueprint, which makes it a more focused, systematic, collaborative, and transdisciplinary strategy for campus sustainability. I'm not sure whether IUBAT is involved in the UI Green Metrics. So there is a campus greening ranking, and now even the THE impact ranking also has, looking into how universities are contributing to the SDGs. So this is also becoming strategic for the universities as well. Indeed, the University of Malaya as a campus sustainability living lab has a specific context. We are an old city campus located within the center of our capital city of Kuala Lumpur. And therefore, whatever that we are facing within the campus is a microcosm of sustainability issue of a city, especially within the context of Kuala Lumpur as the capital city. We are also the oldest university in the country, and therefore our infrastructure are quite old. So I don't know, when was IUBAT established, Firdaus?
1991.
Yeah, so relatively new. So we were, we were set up in 1950s, and institutionally we are quite traditional. So it provides a very unique challenge to us. So your campus may have a specific context based on your history, location, and socioeconomic context. So, so this is your campus. I saw the video just now, it must be beautiful. And I just realized that it's located, by the river. So you're very lucky in that sense. So today I will share with you my own experience in coordinating one of the campus living lab, which is called the Water Warriors. So basically Water Warriors is responsible for water management part of the Eco Campus. And this is related to SDG 6 on clean water and SDG 14, life below water. So when we talk about water management and ecosystem restoration, in addition to the city socioeconomic context of the campus, we also have to understand the context of the campus watershed as well. So this is because from a living lab perspective, we want to start with the sustainability issue that is closest to our campus in our own backyard. So, so in this context, in our watershed or river basin that is located in the Klang River watershed. So I just saw the video just now, and IUBAT is in this river Turang, is it? I misheard it. The river that is beside your campus. So we are within a particular watershed, and so much of the impact that we do on campus flows to the Klang River watershed, which is the main water artery of Kuala Lumpur. And at the same time, the community is also closely connected to the Selangor River watershed, which is quite far from but we obtain 100% of our water supply from the Selangor River. So we are depending on that river to achieve our SDG 6. So sometimes we think that we are just connected to the river where we are located to, but we forget that we get our water from, from the river as well. And it may not necessarily be the river just next to your campus. So knowing our watershed address is very important, as we rarely know what are the rivers that are flowing around us and where we get our water from. And our sense of responsibility and stewardship is connected to that. So you may want to ask, the same question in the context of your university as well. So the Water Warriors Living Lab started when a group of us, a group of researchers and students who were involved in an international research on Asian-oriented integrated watershed management started to, we were doing all this international work, at the national level, and then we realized that one of our lake looks like this. So how can we talk about, integrated watershed management at the national and international level if we are not even addressing the problem in our own backyard? So that was the big question that we had. And this was such a significant existential question to us, because this was the condition of the campus lake in 2013. It was quite dire with loads of rubbish and pollution at the time in 2013. But alhamdulillah, through our efforts in the Living Lab, we have the lab managed to turn things around after 2 years and brought back the lake to life. This was a paper cutting from a mainstream national newspaper reporting the results of the work. So fast forward to 2021, today Water Warriors is a grassroots movement that has been upgraded as a campus sustainability living lab. So we are not only looking at lake conservation, which was what we started with, but now we are also looking into integrated water management for campus sustainability, looking at resource conservation and also demand side in terms of looking at reducing water consumption and increasing efficiency of water use. So our idea is that, we have tested a lot of solutions within the campus, and we tested it, and the best solution, actually, we then tried to share it with other communities external to the campus. So that is the idea of, a campus sustainability living lab. I won't go with the details. Each of the living lab, we have now 40 living labs within University of Malaya. And each of the living lab has their own different approaches in shaping their activities. In Water Warriors, we use the hardware, software, and hardware approach, which is a combination of technological approach with software in terms of managed social processes, in terms of institutions, policy, regulation, and finance, and hardware, the more organic and volunteer-based social processes driven by internal motivation, based on shared values and volunteerism. So in the interest of time, I won't elaborate on this, but if you want to know more information about our experience, you can read out the paper that we have published in the Journal of Cleaner Production. I can share it with Dr. Firdaus, and those who are interested can have a look. So overall, it has been an 8 years journey for us. So we are an activist within the campus, but we are also researchers at the same time. So we are action researchers. So it has been 8 years since we have done this work. And since 2018, we have been engaging with the local communities. And now we also find that, it is important that we also change in the sense that Living Lab is not enough. So now we have set up a community-based social enterprise as well, and a university-linked social enterprise to enhance our work with external stakeholders. So basically what I want to demonstrate here is that, at least from our experience, even though we only started off our activity to revive the Varsity Lake back in 2013, which is a small project, but 8 years onwards, we have been able to extend our internal experience in greening water management within the campus to the outside community. And I must say that stakeholders like this because they really want to see university to walk the talk before they want to engage with you. So, so it's a much more meaningful sort of approach. We are now working with a number of local communities and NGOs, private sector, and we are also working with other universities in Malaysia as well in terms of doing our work. And so we are feeling that we are moving from just contributing to the Eco Campus. Now we are invited to provide our contribution to share our knowledge on the SDGs at the local, state, and international level. I'm going to finish soon. So this is my concluding remark. So I would like to end the sharing by, giving you the key insights on what we have learned through this experience. One is each of our university has our own socioeconomic and socio-ecological context, together with different expertise, strength, and limitation. Even though we are somehow competing with each other in terms of ranking, and even now with green ranking and sustainability ranking, I think the most meaningful way forward is for us to deepen our respective contribution in our own area of influence, and like IUBAT, probably in terms of agricultural solutions, and share our best practices generously with each other. In the end, whatever organization we are in, we are all human beings and we share one planet. And in the spirit of the Environment Day, we should all do what we can as a responsible steward for the environment. My second insight is that I want to highlight the opportunity for us to train future change agents as we conduct our campus sustainability efforts and our research. From my experience at the University of Malaya, most of our dedicated student volunteers who has been involved with our efforts within the campus has now become very significant change agents, really, having good positions now in the environmental community as they spread their wings beyond the campus. So, I was very happy to see, individuals like Shanjida just now from the Bangladesh Youth Environmental Initiative, and also Sharia from the RCE Greater Dhaka Youth Forum. So, I mean, these are really, really, you really have to tap into their activism, their talent, their enthusiasm, because, they will form the critical mass of talented young people for Bangladesh for the future conservation of environment in your country. Finally, I would like to end with the third insight that universities are important knowledge bearers, and we can do much more if we can strategically work together to upscale our solutions for the good of society. Who knows, there might be opportunity for University of Malaya as well to collaborate with IUBAT in some areas of ecosystem restoration. Finally, I would like to end my sharing today by making a call that it is time to build what we have lost. Each of us has a unique role to play, and let us all be a generation of restorers in the decade towards the SDG 2030. I guess that is all, Dr. Firdaus. Thank you very much for your kind attention, and I return the screen to Dr. Firdaus. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Dr. Jida, for your very impressive presentation here. And I think that all my students and my colleagues, they really enjoyed the speech and presentation. Now, and thank you so much. Okay, now I would like to invite our chief guest today is Professor Dr. Ghulam Sabir Sattar, sir, Tapu sir. Sir, thank you so much for your long wait. Actually, you joined from the very beginning. Sir, can you hear me? Professor Dr. Ghulam Sabir Sattar, sir.
Yes.
Please, now I would like to welcome Professor Dr. Ghulam Sabir Sattar, sir, the Director in Institute of Environmental Science, IES, Rajshahi University. So please welcome, sir. Thank you.
Thank you for this. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We can hear you.
Okay.
You can continue.
Okay. Honorable Vice Chancellor, Pro Vice Chancellor, keynote speakers, distinguished faculties from home and abroad, and the moderator and the participants. Indeed, it's a great pleasure for me to participate as a chief guest in such wonderful session, along with so many distinguished scholars and the august bodies. Indeed, it was a long waiting for me, and just I am showering with so many new ideas and new knowledge, which just clicking me in my mind, two sentences from a poem written by the poet T.H. Eliot. Okay, in his one poet, it is the Chorus from a Stone. He wrote that, where is the wisdom we have lost in knowledge? Where is the knowledge we have lost in information? So nowadays, and this very particular session, there are so many information, so many knowledges, and indeed there are 7 presenters. They have presented very time being and very articulated papers. I don't want to go through because due to the shortage of time, I think I don't want to prolong longer. Otherwise, I have some observation relating to the all papers. They have some something. Anyway, Let concentrate to the today's program. As we all are about the today's sessions, that is the restoration of the ecosystem, and this is well known to everyone. And we also informed that the United Nations has declared 2021-2030 the UN Decade of Ecosystem Restoration. And in a bond challenge, the New York Declaration, they declared that they will recover some sort of forest, about 350 million hectare by the year 2030. So almost 38 million hectare per year. So it is their determination. And of course, we learned also that the ecosystem restoration includes the restoration of the converted lands back into the healthy ecosystem, as well as the restoration of degraded ecosystems. And as we know that under the Paris Climate Accord, 137 countries highlighted restoration in their plans, and almost 196 countries agreed for the Convention of the Biological Diversity, achieving the biodiversity target on the ecological restoration. And this year, I think it is one of the connectivity of the past year. If you remember the past year World Environment Day, the slogan was something like that, time for nature. And there in that year, they pointed out about the two focal point of the SDG 14 and 15. One is life below water, that is regarding the blue economy, and another is life on the earth, so the terrestrial ecosystem. So basically they encompasses all the terrestrial and the water ecosystem. And I think this year, since this is the decade of ecosystem restoration, so the UN actually they focus on this matter as well. Just have a quick look. Since decades, every year, every month, or in every minute, we brutally, unethically destroying our natural environment. Especially after Second World War, in the name of industrial revolution, instead of a robust, better living environment, we significantly jeopardize our living space, our nature, the only livable place that is the planet Earth. As far as example, unbelievably, it is true, over more than 200,000 acres of rainforest are burned every day. That is over 150 acres lost every minute of every day, and 78 million acres are lost every year. In 2019, it is detected by the satellite data. It revealed that an area of Amazon rainforest, roughly the size of a football pitch, is now being cleared every single minute. So this is the real scenario of the forest. And if you look at the other hand, about the flora and the other fauna. On the other hand, the damaging or disappearing or extinction of flora and fauna are colossal. Wildlife population have fallen by more than 2/3 in less than 50 years. According to the major report by the WWF, we know that World Wildlife Fund, and the report says that catastrophic declining shows no sign of slowing. So this is really, really matter for us, for our future. And this thing is really destroyed by the humans at a rate never seen before. So this is really very critical situation. And WWF, that is World Wildlife Forest Fund, recorded an average 60% fall in more than 20,000 population of mammals, birds, amphibians, reptiles, fish since 1970. So the last 50 years, they found more than 20,000 species. They declined and some are waiting for the extinction. And the scenario further became grim by the different pollutions like air, water, soil, and etc., which are significantly contributing our ecosystem. As we know that planet Earth is really arched by the 7.8 billion people, just if you check on the Google clock today. And it is expected that the projection rate will be 9 billion in 2050 and more than 10 billion in the 2100. So at this time that the world will lose its carrying capacity. Now we have to think about how we can survive. So let's think about the ecosystem. It is nothing but a unique system of the last resort for all living being on this earth. Basically, the ecosystem is the community of living organism in conjunction with non-living components like soil, water, air, sunlight, climate, or other environment interacting as an ecosystem. And one thing we have to keep in our mind that nature is amazing. When left to manage itself, nature process being to function more effectively. Such process include natural grazing, the role of predators and the scavenger, and the natural flooding. And unfortunately, we can mention the scenario of the COVID-19 today. We can see in some area which is not now presently ravaged by the people is now regenerating. So nature is a totally different thing. One thing, another thing we have to keep in our mind that restoration system and the pristine or the primitive environment are not bear the similar meaning. Okay, nature is a continuum. It cannot be segregated into discrete parts for our own convenience. If we go against nature, nature automatically revolts. We have to keep that in our mind. Reconstruction or restoration indicates we have regenerated the damaged situation. So restoration means we have to regenerate it that has been damaged by we people. That is the people who are living in the era of the Anthropocene. Okay. So this is very important. Because restoration indicate we have to regenerate and damage situation as close as to original state. This is simply impossible because restoration cannot mean the old one. It could be the new things, appearance of the new things, but that cannot be justified by the destroying. Okay. So clear example is that forest and the woodland. We can make a differentiation because forest is a forest, woodland cannot be a forest because forest has its own ecosystem since 1,000 years or more than 100 years, but woodland is only for several decades. So development of ecosystem are natural, it created by the Mother Earth. On the other hand, restoration means artificial process of regeneration which had been ravaged by the human being. However, under such present horrific situation, we have no other better option rather than restoration. So now we have to look into the restoration. So ecological restoration seeks to initiate the accelerated ecosystem recovery following damage, degradation, or destruction. Restoration participators do not carry out the actual work of ecosystem recovery. Rather, they create the condition need for the recovery so the plants, animals, and microorganisms can carry out work by recovery themselves. So now let us have some quick talk about what is the good ecological system. The rapid rise of the ecological restoration is forcing consideration of what good restoration entails. Defining an endpoint of the restoration as much as ethical matter as a technical one, but scientifically trained restoration have largely ignored in the former uses. So I personally argue that the good restoration requires an expanded view that includes historical, social, cultural, political, aesthetic, and the moral aspects, which is really demand a social justice. This expanded definition is necessary at a practical level to guide participations in the pursuits of the excellence and the conceptual level to prevent restoration from the being swamped by the technological activities and the project that vary away from the ecological fidelity. So ecological fidelity is based on three principles, that is structural, compositional reflection, and the functional success and the durability. We have to put emphasis on that.